It Ends With Us centers on Lily Bloom, a young woman who moves to Boston to start fresh after a difficult childhood with an abusive father. Lily is a strong, independent character with a passion for gardening and opening her own flower shop. Her story unfolds in three main parts, beginning with her meeting Ryle Kincaid, a handsome neurosurgeon with a no-commitment policy. Ryle is initially hesitant to pursue anything serious, but the two eventually fall in love, and it seems like Lily's life is finally falling into place. Lily's journey takes a complicated turn when she reconnects with her first love, Atlas Corrigan, who was her support during some of the hardest times of her life. She met Atlas when they were both teenagers, and he was homeless, struggling to survive. Lily secretly took care of him, and they formed a close bond that ultimately turned into young love. However, their lives led them in different directions, and they lost touch. As Lily's relationship with Ryle deepens, dark patterns from her past start to re-emerge. Ryle, though caring and loving in many ways, has a violent side that surfaces under stress. Lily's hope for a peaceful, loving relationship is shattered as she finds herself on the receiving end of Ryle's aggression. This dynamic leads her to confront the difficult, emotionally charged decision between holding on to love or breaking a toxic cycle. In the climax of the story, Lily realizes that if she continues with Ryle, she might repeat her mother's life, staying in an abusive relationship and sacrificing her safety and self-respect. She eventually decides to end the relationship for the sake of her daughter, vowing to break the cycle of abuse she witnessed growing up. In a bittersweet ending, she reconnects with Atlas, but Hoover leaves their future open-ended, emphasizing Lily's growth and empowerment as a person who prioritizes her well-being. Colleen Hoover's It Ends With Us is often praised for its unflinching portrayal of complex relationships and the painful dynamics of domestic abuse. Hoover handles the issue with sensitivity and realism, showing that abuse isn't always black and white and that it can exist even in relationships filled with love and good intentions. The novel also highlights how difficult it can be to leave an abusive partner, even when one knows it's necessary for survival and mental health. One powerful element of the story is Hoover's use of Lily's teenage journal entries, which reveal her first love with Atlas, while also exposing the contrast between the innocent, supportive love they shared and the more adult, complicated relationship she has with Ryle. These entries add depth to Lily's character, letting readers see her history and why she initially falls for Ryle despite his flaws. Hoover based aspects of the story on her mother's experiences, and this personal connection adds authenticity and weight to the narrative. The book isn't just about abuse. It's about resilience, strength, and the choices that define our futures. The title, It Ends With Us, is both a powerful reminder of Lily's decision to break the cycle of abuse and a hopeful message for those who might be in similar situations. Another strong theme in the novel is forgiveness, both of others and oneself. Lily struggles with blaming herself for staying with Ryle and allowing the abuse to happen. Her journey shows that healing often requires forgiving oneself for decisions made in difficult circumstances and finding strength in self-compassion. Overall, It Ends With Us is a poignant and sometimes painful exploration of love, resilience, and the struggle to break free from cycles of violence. It challenges readers to think deeply about the complexities of abusive relationships, the reasons people stay, and the courage it takes to walk away. Through Lily's story, Hoover doesn't provide easy answers, but rather a realistic and ultimately empowering depiction of breaking free and choosing a better future. It Ends With Us follows Lily Bloom, a young woman with dreams of owning a flower shop and escaping the painful memories of her childhood. She grew up in a home with a physically abusive father who hurt her mother repeatedly. This early exposure to violence shapes her understanding of relationships and self-worth. When she meets Ryle Kincaid, a skilled neurosurgeon, her life begins to take a seemingly positive turn. Despite his initial aversion to relationships, Ryle is drawn to Lily and the two eventually fall in love. As their romance deepens, Lily begins to see sides of Ryle that remind her of her father. He exhibits moments of temper that turn physically aggressive, and Lily is forced to confront her worst fears as she finds herself in a similar situation to her mother's. This leads to an inner conflict as she remembers promising herself she'd never tolerate such behavior, yet finds herself torn because she genuinely loves Ryle. Throughout the novel, Lily's past and present intersect. She reconnects with her first love, Atlas Corrigan, a kind and resilient man who had been her lifeline during her turbulent teenage years. Back then, Atlas was homeless and seeking stability, and Lily secretly supported him, bonding over shared moments and deep empathy. Their relationship was pure and filled with understanding, making it an emotional refuge for Lily. When Atlas reappears as a successful chef in Boston, their unresolved connection causes tension in her relationship with Ryle, as Atlas begins to see the toll Ryle is taking on her. The story reaches a climax when Lily decides to leave Ryle after another violent episode. Pregnant and determined not to perpetuate the cycle of abuse, Lily chooses to prioritize her and her unborn child's safety. Ultimately, she confronts the difficult reality that love alone cannot fix toxic behavior. She chooses to divorce Ryle and break the cycle of violence she grew up with, paving the way for a healthier future.